Hey everyone, Dominic here with the Raving Hordes Game Club in Saskatoon. Today we've got a 4,500 point game, Vampire Covenant versus the Dread Elves. We played in circle with Capture the Flags. Let's get right into it. For the vampires, starting on my left flank, I've got a unit of Vampire Knights with the Vampire Courtier in there, a varkolak up front, unit of Barrow Guard with halberds and a Barrow King, big unit of zombies, unit of bats. Beside that, we've got unit of skeletons with a vampire count in there, bats, and some wraiths behind a hill. For the Dread Elves, he's got a bolt thrower, a prince on a dragon, 2 units of spears. One of them, I believe, has an academy banner. Unit of crossbows in the back there. He also has a sorceress who's back there, and a raptor chariot, big unit of tower guard with a PSB in it, another raptor chariot, another bolt thrower, a hydra, some harpies, another unit of crossbows, and then some raptor knights. Here's a look at the field. So obviously we got 3 forests out there, a hill, a field, and a big piece of impassable kind of mid-center there. Vampires got turn 1 and vanguarded that varkolak way up the center there. So for vampires turn 1, not too much. I kind of moved up my lines a little bit. The varkolak flew across the board, basically meaning he has to deal with it or else he's going to lose his sorceress. Or something very much. Go right into the magic phase. I tried to do Pentagram of Pain the first turn on those harpies in the back. He let it go. I rolled a 1 for the d6 and then a 1 for the wound. That was pretty much it. And that's kind of what the table is looking like as we go into turn 1 for Dread Elves. So they move up on this flank and the other flank, I guess, sort of holding their center back. He moves the dragon around to potentially have to use his breath weapon if the rest of the shooting doesn't get rid of the varkolak that's kind of hidden behind the tree here. The sorceress was in this unit. She popped out and made it so that I couldn't wheel around and then still hit her if I'm still alive. So that's kind of what that was looking like right there. In the magic phase, I forget what spell it was that was cast. I think they get reroll failed to wound rolls against me in shooting, I think is what the spell was. But he did miscast and rolled 3 6s, so suffered the wounds, and as you can see there, rolled the wounds, and sorceress died turn 1, which is pretty big. He goes into the shooting phase. He does fire the crossbows, the raptor chariot, and he has to use the breath weapon to finally get rid of the varkolak. Over here he does his shooting at the wraiths, doesn't cause a single wound, and that's pretty much it as we're going into turn 2. So turn 2, the wraiths charged down the hill to hit the knights. They only needed a 9 on the dice, made it in. Everything else kind of moves up. I decide that I want my zombies redeployed, so I'm moving them to the other side to maybe get in way of, you know, whatever else is coming over there, the chariot or the hydra or something. I move these knights up pretty aggressively. I figure he's not going to charge me. Even if he does, it's better for me probably than me charging him. So I left it up here enough space as well. My plan was actually to hope that he thinks I'm going to charge him, and then this guy's going to charge out and go grab that bolt thrower. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The bats move up to go chaff that chariot, and that's pretty much it for movement. Magic phase. Again, I did the Pentagram of Pain. He let it go off. I rolled a 1 for the d6, and then I rolled a 1 for the damage again. So I thought that was kind of funny. We did Ancestral Aid, and just like his caster, I also miscast with 3 6s. So they obviously get it, but I didn't actually suffer any wounds on the dice roll, because I only used 3. Go into combat. The Wraiths, as you see, wiped out the Knights, took 2 damage from the Knights before they did, and then overran into the flank of that Hydra, which I'm looking back, I probably should have just reformed on the spot to get out of arc of sight of it, but you know, you learn. So that's kind of how the things are looking as we're going into turn 2 for the Dread Elves. He no charges to declare this turn. He moves up that dragon kind of behind the behind in anticipation of me not killing this unit entirely. Moves up the Harpies in front of my Barrow Guard, and he actually moved these guys to the facing the flank for, I'm not entirely certain why, but that one kind of comes to bite him in the ass later on. So yeah, that's kind of what that looks like. He goes into shooting because his magic is done. Knocks off a bunch of wounds on the bat swarm. He goes into combat after that and knocks me down to 3 guys, and I think I only did 2 wounds to the Hydra at this point. Actually, I think that's only 1 wound to the Hydra. Yeah, and that's kind of what we're looking like as going into Vampire turn 3. So for Vampire turn 3, we declare a charge against the Harpies and he flees, and then I redirect into that chariot. Sorry, this chariot back here. He elects to hold. Over here, like I said, he didn't. I was worried that he might bring that dragon in the way, so that I couldn't. But no. So he's going into the bolt thrower. There's the redirect, and then these guys into movement. Both charges actually made it in. I guess I don't think I took a picture of that, but for the movement, I was trying to figure out what to do with these guys, and I decided to put them up just within an inch so that he can't. I didn't want to measure it, but I know that he can't fit this guy on the corner the way that these guys got to come in. They'll hit and they'll still be over here. But I didn't want to measure this distance just in case he missed it, because I was pretty certain that this guy couldn't fit with his unit back here. But as it turns out, he might be able to. So yeah, that's what those are looking like. The zombies changed their mind again, decide to come after the Tower Guard. And we go into magic. So into magic, I do a pentagram of pain for the 3rd and final time, and a 1 and a 1 again. So I just decided to stop casting that damn spell for the rest of the game. We raised the new unit of zombies up front and center there, just getting in the way. And then he went to combat. He wiped out the Wraiths, didn't suffer any more wounds. The Vampire Courtier wipes out the bolt thrower and just pivots on the spot. The Barrow Guard put 3 wounds on the chariot, and it was down by 5, was within range of the general and the BSB, made it the first round, so it's sticking around right up there. So that's kind of how things are looking like here as we're going into turn 3 for the Dread Elves. So he declares both of these charges here. And like I said, I was pretty certain that he couldn't make it. We got out, I had an extra 100 mil base. We put these guys in and then plopped it down, and sure enough he could fit with a little bit of room to spare. So both of those guys made it in. Over there, he declared a charge actually from the Hydra into the bat swarm back here and failed that one. These guys didn't charge, and this is just his arc of sight for shooting. In the rest of the movement, these crossbowmen they actually swiftly reformed to face this way, and now they're facing off in that direction. These guys, he forgot to move them, so they're just sitting there facing the wrong way. That's the rear. Like I said, that kind of comes to bite him here soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it for movement, I think. So as you see, these guys here, yeah, he moved the one in the corner, so he is facing this direction. Shooting gets rid of the bat swarm. Combat, I get rid of the chariot, the last wound on the chariot, and pivot on the spot to face the rear of those spears, I guess. Into combat, his dragon totally whiffs. He only did 1 wound with the dragon, and then the spears actually did a couple wounds themselves, did 3 more with the spears. Actually, no, I think the spears might have done 1 and then the dragon did 2. But either way, not a lot of damage based on how that guy's kitted out. He's based out for like AP 6. So I did a bunch of wounds back, and we ended up tying on that one. I think that was pretty much it for combats, and then we're on to turn 4. So turn 4 for the Vampire Covenant. The Barrow Guard go into the rear there. He holds. The Courtier declares a charge into the crossbows through the woods. And this one here, I saw something and then I figured, you know, let's go for it, and we'll talk about that in a second. But just the character flies and hits the flank of this unit. Yeah, that's it. So my idea here was I figured I could go in, charge the flank. His character's way on the other side, so he can't be in there, as well as his champion's way over there. So it's just rank and file over here. If I move these zombies within an inch, he can't actually reform to face any more than 3 wide, so he's not going to have his ranks second round, or like go to get back. He'll reform to face, but I figure I can slowly whittle that unit down if I've got him in a 3x3 kind of pinned in place. It was my thought anyway. We go into magic. We get Whispers of the Veil off on that Tower Guard unit, and I think that was pretty much it. We go into combat. The Barrow Guard wipe out the spearmen here, overrun into the flank of the giant, or not the giant, the dragon. The dragon does a couple more wounds to the knights. The knights do some wounds to the spears, and I think they were steadfast because this overrun didn't happen until afterwards. I'm pretty sure that's how that works out. So yeah, because the dragon was right here, kind of thing. So the spearman stuck on steadfast, and then I overran into the flank again. And over here in this combat, this is the one I was a little bit curious about. We were reading the rules a little bit back and forth, but basically I thought that because this guy, the BSB, is not there and he can't make way to the flank, he couldn't issue a challenge, as well as the champion. I guess the champion looks like he's right here, so he could have issued a challenge, but the BSB issued a challenge. I figured I'd kill him anyway, but I go in and I whiff my attacks. I only did 1 wound. Well, I did 2 wounds. He saved 1 of them. And then, surprisingly, he did 1 wound back to me, which is pretty much all he needed to do, because if he didn't do any wounds to me, I still would be alive. But because he did that wound, I crumble out and die. So that's after my crumble checks all around. That's all I lost. I think there's 4 zombies, 2 skeletons, and a single bat swarm that I lost from the crumble check, which is pretty damn good. But now we're into turn 4 for the Dread Elves. I believe the Hydra goes into that bat swarm. The Tower Guard go into the raised zombie unit. Oh no, the Hydra went past the bat swarm. He went into the skeleton unit, as did the chariot. That's what happened. They both make it. Shooting. He shoots off this bat swarm, I believe. And then we go into combat. Wipes out these guys and overruns into the flank of the main unit of zombies. Wipes the skeleton unit down to just 12. I kill off the spears and do some pivots. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So that's kind of how things are looking as we go into turn 5 for the Vampire Covenant. So I declare a charge from the Barrow Guard into the crossbows, who fled, but they actually didn't go very far. Still a 12-inch charge. I failed, and just sitting right there. The Knights had declared a charge against the Harpies, who fled to just an inch before the table edge. Measured it up, needed boxcars to get it, and I managed to get it in, so I was pretty lucky there. And then my other vampire character moved way over here, so he's out of range of his last bolt thrower, but I'm still within range of my spells. So into magic, I forget, I think I cast a spell on this unit here. I think it was the minus resilience, minus discipline. Let it go off. Stop the raise on the unit though. Over here, wipes out skeletons. In combat, wipes out the zombies, not a problem. And that's kind of how we're looking as we go into turn 5. So turn 5, these guys rally. Kind of missed some pictures here because not really much happened. The Tower Guard were thinking about charging the flank of those Barrow Guard. It was a 15-inch, or it was a 14-inch charge. I think 14 or 15, either way. He decided not to do it after a bit. Just kept the Hydra in place. Moved the Chariot on the flank there. Yeah, so rallied these guys. Everything else just kind of stays in spot. Didn't do any shooting, or shooting wasn't effective. Oh wait, no, I think there was shooting. Yeah, you picked off one of the knights, so there's just one knight left over here. That was shooting. And then into Vampire turn 6, I declare that charge. Stands and shoots, doesn't do a single wound. Get in, not a problem. The Barrow Guard pivot on the spot. And I move my character way over here, again staying out of bolt thrower range, but I'm actually out of range of my raise spell over here now, but that's okay. The bats move behind the hill to hide from the bolt thrower and the crossbows, and we go into magic, which didn't do anything. I think I tried to cast the reroll fail to hit rolls on the knights, which didn't go off, it fizzled. And then I tried to do the other one, the -1 resilience, -1 discipline on those crossbows, and he stopped it. And like I said, I wasn't within range to raise. Oh no, I was. I raised the single Barrow Guard that died the entire game. I raised him back. So yeah, that's kind of how things are looking here. And we went into that combat. I did some wounds. He stuck. I made a vampiric roll. That's pretty much it. We played out the turn 6, and he stuck here again. So that's kind of what the table is looking like. So we had just those 2 block units completely untouched. I guess minus the 1 wound on his BSB, and a little bit over there for the Dread Elves as well. But really fun game, really tactical game. It's always nice to play a game against this opponent, as he's likes to talk about things, and you can engage and become a better player from it. So that's always really nice. Did up the points at the end. There was less than 100-point difference between the two of us, so it was a 10-10. I did manage to capture the secondary, just barely though. So that went from a 10-10 to a 13-7, With our league, you get extra points for being fully painted and an extra point for higher point games. This was only 4,500 points. Both armies were completely painted. So our final score of this game is 15-9. Again, like I said, it was a super fun game. Always enjoy playing against that opponent. And I hope you guys enjoy the battle, and stay tuned for the next one.